we just heard the beautiful sound of the Innato flute, and here we have a conversation with myself, Orlando Villarraga, and Alan Tower, and Hans Houkes. So just to begin, let's just hear a little bit about maybe we each introduce ourselves, and so people get a little feel of who we are, and then we'll go into straight into talking about the Innato. So
Okay, my name is Hans. I'm from Holland, Hans Houkes, and I make ceramic instruments. And some of those instruments I developed together with Alan, and it came into something completely new.
My name's Alan Tower. I had to take off the reverb there for a second. And yes, I met Hans about 5 years ago around the development of a triple chambered clay vessel flute. And it's a long story, but we started developing this together. And it's now at the point where we feel it totally can connect to people who want to just access their own innate musicality that comes with being human. And that's been our goal. And it's been quite an adventure.
And my name is Orlando Villarraga, and I've met these also through the development of this instrument, the Innato, and found myself to be a player and a practitioner, and have embedded it in a lot of the meditations that I've been doing throughout these last few years. So I figured we'd have a conversation about this instrument. It might be really new for a lot of people, so I think it'd be nice for us to begin just kind of like if we could have a little tour of the instrument. I don't know if you want to do this, Hans or Alan, whoever.
Hans.
But go ahead, Hans, and just kind of imagine, we don't have no clue what this instrument is about. Just tell us a little bit how it works.
Okay, so this is an Innato. Actually, it's three vessel flutes joined together, one mouthpiece. So if you blow through it, all three flutes will start to play. Every chamber has two holes, and it doesn't matter so much what you do, which hole you open together. It's built like it's always a harmony. So you can do anything wrong, and it's not only about the easy the way to play it, but what's beautiful on the Innate is that it helps to go inside your brain. It's almost like the space behind the waterfall where all thoughts are still there, all impressions are still there, color, sound, but you can just be for a moment. So not only for yourself playing, but also for playing for somebody else. So whatever you do, so the only thing you need to learn with this instrument is to exhale slowly, like in a meditation. And I think that's good for everybody.
So the interesting part about on the head is that it seems a little obscure, putting an instrument on a head, but actually the instrument was designed specifically from the beginning to be able to do this. And the reason was because when you play it yourself, you are completely enveloped in the sound of the Innato. However, when we shared it, generally we were playing it up in front of people's faces to kind of create that intimacy, but we realized it wasn't fully enveloped. So it's purely the idea of putting someone in the middle of the sound that we came up with this concept of on the head. And it actually has a decent connection to the lineage of the instrument as well, we've learned. One last thing I would say also is that it's quite a beautiful sculpture, right? If you look at it, we actually had a woman on the East Coast who saw it and had no idea that it was anything but a sculpture. And when she found out, she was going to put it in her window. And when she found out it had beautiful sounds hidden in plain sight, that was the way she described it. So to me, it's quite extraordinary in that it's a beautiful sculpture, but the sound, the hidden sounds are in plain sight.
Well, actually, the shape comes from form follows function. That's the way it happens. But the decoration, we have different kinds of decoration, and I think when you have something beautiful, you want to keep it near you. That's why we really try to make them as beautiful as possible.
Yeah, Hans, I love this point too, because I do also see in my experience with the Innato, that we have the beauty, not just of what it looks like, but what it sounds like makes me want to have it near me. I have it on my desk, and every day. Maybe I'll play it a little bit, and it makes me wonder. One of the things is that, you know, let's think about current times today. In a time that there's so much craziness, going on. There's the pandemic, rising climate change, is polarized politics. It just seems that there's so much chaos maybe happening. What what makes the Innato relevant during this time? And for me, it's some of that beauty that you're speaking of. But I would love to hear from both of you. What particularly about this instrument could make it relevant in these chaotic moments?
Well, I think it's first a function that it gives you instant reset. You play it, or you get played by, and it gives the instant reset. But also happens very practical. I know here in the Netherlands many people who are used. Normally they massage people or they help older people, and they reach out and they touch. And sometimes now it's difficult to do that. So they have an instrument, and they don't touch you by the hand, but they might touch you with the sound. And so many people now really can use some extra comfort, and I think the Innate is perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the name Innato, what is Italian uh, for inborn, like you already know it. It doesn't cost energy. So yes, speaking about what Alan says, it's a piece of technology, but in the right way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And hearing you guys speak on this really kind of just highlights for me that it seems that the innate can be called a catalyst for connection, and it makes me think that, where is this how has this connection that the instrument has brought the two of you into building, sort of given you maybe any insights, or brought you some sort of wisdoms in your life? Yeah, how has your partnership changed how you guys are through building this instrument?
Well, the Innate changed my whole life from the moment we started with it till now. It kind of took over in a way, like, okay, like the Innate, I'm only the builder of the Innate. It's not my instrument. Yeah? The instrument is a product of many people from us and before us, and it's like you have to pass it through. So it has nothing to do with ego. The only thing we're trying to do is build beautiful in the instruments to pass on. And because you don't need words or explanations, or an online PDF with instructions. When people hold it, most people understand the instrument immediately, and that's a beautiful way to communicate and to pass it on to. It finds its own way. We never decide which Innate goes to which person. These flutes, they find their own way.
Hmm.
So we only have to follow them.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's in a more pragmatic sense. In working with Hans, I've rarely had an experience over years of being able to work so clearly and at high tempo back and forth. I remember one time we were on the train. I was on a train somewhere, and for 2 hours we just buzzed back and forth WhatsApp voicemails and whatever, and we came up with a whole new plan based on the ability to communicate quickly and clearly, and even in butting heads at times. That's the part I love the most. In a way, we can just say whatever we want to each other, and it has no meaning other than towards something else that's going to benefit people.
You're right, Alan, because it doesn't mean that we can work together well, that I like you at all. But no.
Right. So I mean, really, that has been a
We're
real
very
gift,
professional. Yeah,
a gift, because I work with all kinds of people around the world, but it's never as consistent or constant towards an end. And I think that's a gift that.
To come back to the concept of the relationships, like you both were speaking on, about how you have built a relationship over the instrument, where the goal was, we didn't have to take things personally. There was no need to be stuck in the ego, because you both were working towards something bigger. I've, I love to touch back on that because there's something about how I've witnessed both in my life too and in many people's lives that have the innate now, how this instrument just gives such an opportunity to build relationships, whether you're developing it like us here, or you just get to share, play on someone's head, or you get to give them a sort of relaxing meditation experience. Um, and I feel like, in this time now, like as we were talking about how things are, seem to be hectic, it's what a nice opportunity for people to have an instrument that can at least give them a connection where it might seem a little bit difficult.
Many people describe the instrument as a safe zone. It's safe. You can feel safe with the sound. You can feel safe while playing it. You cannot do anything wrong. And especially in these times, I think that's really important to, you cannot hurt with it.
So both are busy people and you have lots to do, and things are changing all the time, in work. But what keeps you both so inspired to really work on this instrument and really want to deliver this instrument out for the world?
I can say something to that because actually, and I meant to bring this up, but because I'm involved in some other larger projects, larger companies, because Hans has skills in almost any place you can touch, electronics, ceramics, philosophy, everything. He's got a brain that can handle everything. He's naturally been folded into many of the other larger projects. So for instance, I'll just give you an example. This is a resonant chamber instrument, but together with about 8 or 10 other people, we're working on creating a large structured chamber where 100 people could have these experiences of beauty and connection. And so he's naturally become a leader with that. So I think the whole thing is folded into a relationship that is multifaceted with multiple fingers going in many directions with the Innato at the center.
Yeah. I, I think for me is in Japanese you have a word. It's called ikigai. There's a village in Japan where people get very old and they ask, "How do you get so old? Is it the food? Is it this?" Is it no? It's the ikigai. It's the reason why you wake up in the morning and go do your thing. And besides the other instruments I have, but especially the innate, that's my thing. And I had many things in my life. I did many different things, but with this, it all comes together. I have all the things I learned ever, they come back in this instrument. So not only about building it, but also playing it and demonstrating it and sharing it and talking about it. And so this is my ikigai. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you too. And I
Thank
really
you.
just love to end, speaking of the connection and sort of the web, that how the innate has seems to bring things together. I thought it'd be cool if we ended each of us bringing our innates to show them on the screen and just saying where we are right now in the world to show the far extents of this instrument. So this is my innate, and I'm in Baja California in Mexico.
This is my A minor innate, and I am in South Pasadena, California, down near LA.
And this is my last C minor in A because I sent all the rest to Alan, and I'm in the Netherlands in Lent.
Thank you.